Tell me when we're ready.
We are ready.
All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to this evening of the Bridge of the Gods Centennial Celebration Advisory Committee. Today is Thursday, August 21st, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. We're going to start off with roll call, please.
Committee Chair Clute.
Here.
Committee Member Crane is excused. Committee Member Stippen.
Here.
Committee Member Palermo is absent. Committee Member Berge.
Here.
Committee Member Nagori.
Here.
All right. Thank you so much.
Do you want me to share my screen with the agenda?
Sure. I've got it up too, but I think it'll help for everyone else. Do we have any modifications, additions, and changes to the agenda today? Hearing none, then do we have any declarations of potential conflicts of interest?
Yes, I have to declare a potential conflict of interest, I think Jeremiah said, because as many of you know, I took over as the president of Main Street Cascade Locks, and our big project for next year, the board just approved doing its own supplementary Centennial celebration project downtown involving all the businesses. And so Jeremiah thought that there might be some conflict of interest and that I may need to step down as a voting member of this committee.
Copy. I
think I sent you a copy of our notice, didn't I, Carrie?
I think so. I didn't have a chance to review yet.
Okay.
It has been extremely crazy the last couple weeks with work.
It's been crazy here too, so no hurry.
All right. Well, considering at the moment we need you as a voting member and to maintain a quorum, until those notes are read, I say that we continue allowing you to be there with just if there's anything that is directly in conflict, a vote that is directly in conflict, then we may have to postpone that vote. All right. Approval of minutes for advisory committee meeting minutes from June 5th, 2025. Does anybody? Hey, Carrie Ann, you're on the...
What's that?
You're still live.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was just trying to warn him. He might not want to come into my office because I don't have the AC on and it's,
Oh, yikes. All right. Well, we'll try to make this meeting quick so you don't have to sit in no AC.
No, don't. I'm from Hawaii. I'm good. Everybody else probably suffers. That's all. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries. All right. So the minutes are on the screen. If you haven't had a chance to review them, they're also part of your agenda packet. I have had a chance to review them. So if anybody wants to make a motion to approve our minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes from the June 5th meeting.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
Thank you, Brittany. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Sounds unanimous.
Hey, Carrie. I just noticed I forgot to put in a second on the minutes. So I might have to update that or amend it.
Oh, amend the minutes for a second, a motion. Oh, I see.
Oh.
So do we need to
actually maybe not. This is the one where we appointed Laurel and it got
withdrawn.
Yeah. Withdrawn anyway. So never mind. I'm sorry.
Okay. Copy that.
Sorry.
All right. The next item on the agenda are discussions. The first one is consider requests to be recognized in Washington State's America 250. So Janice gave me a little bit of a rundown on this. This is in your meeting packet if you scroll down to page 4. So this basically is if we want to coincide our celebration, since it is happening the same year as our 250th anniversary of the United States, this would allow us to use the 250 anniversary logo and get us in marketing, free marketing, essentially for events around the country. It would kind of promote us in other events that are taking place. So I think to become an official partner, it's free. It includes the following: your organization and a link to your website on our partners page, ability to submit events and activities to our statewide calendar coming soon. And this is for Washington State. I wonder if Oregon's running one concurrently.
Oregon is called the Oregon 250, and it's through the State Heritage Program.
Okay.
I just heard about the last Main Street Network meeting.
We may want to consider looking up that one too, to vote on it for next meeting. But for Washington, for now, we'll look at this one. Use of the official Washington State America's 250th logo and related materials, access to templates, toolkits, and support to help plan activities, monthly partner newsletter with ideas, tips, and suggestions, updates about special events and activities. So the it looks like there's also a way to participate in a program called Out of Many One. It's coordinated exploration of the American experience through objects, images, artwork from across Washington State. Museums are invited to partner with their communities to identify and exhibit an object, image, or artwork from their collection that reflects the American experience. The program is designed to help participating organizations and engage on the public's Washington's America 250 themes, generate enthusiasm for local history, and broaden their audiences for future programming. You can learn more about it at that link, which could be cool because we could like maybe submit like an old photo of the bridge being built and some story information about how it's turning 100 years old that year, and really kind of generate some more interest in our community.
Might be also an opportunity to draw in Carrie Ann, remember or remind me the name of the executive director of the museum in Stevenson.
Palermo, Luis.
Palermo might be a good way to bring Palermo back into this. She was supposed to sit on this group and we just never quite got her engaged, but I know that she's certainly going to have a lot of access to Bridge of the Gods stuff. They kind of feel ownership in it as much as we do. So it might be cool to turn her on to this as well. So I'll forward that over to her and see if she picks up and runs with it at all.
Okay. And then on the next page, it looks like there's an additional program, Hosts the Moments That Made Us Exhibit. It's a free customizable print-on-demand exhibition exploring the ideals of the heart of the Declaration of Independence through moments in our history that have defined meaning. It does so in a user-friendly format that organizations can adapt, afford, and make their own. I mean, that might be something we explore as the museum, but I don't think that really pertains to our celebration in general. So we'll leave that one off and we can revisit that at our museum meeting if we so choose. So I think just my thoughts on this, the becoming an official partner piece sounds intriguing. I think that's something that we should definitely look at exploring. And then the other two pieces may be left to the museum as far as if we just choose to submit something, it would probably be through the museum as an exhibition. So I think our focus really is on just page 5 of this meeting packet, which is becoming an official partner. Does anybody have any thoughts about this?
John here. I do. I think, every single time that Janice Crane has passed something towards us or through us or by us, it has been really beneficial. And now that I see that she's, kind of put this one in front of us here, I would love to make a motion that we join the Washington 250 and investigate making sure we can get along with the Oregon 250 at the same time. I would imagine that'd be something if they're allowing us as a Centennial committee to join, I'm all for it. And
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to do it if anybody's willing to think that way. We could go at it now because why not?
Sure. Is there a second?
I'll second John's motion.
All right.
Thanks, Laura.
Before we vote, do we want to have any discussion? We good? I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it doesn't seem like it would be a bad thing at all. It's free and it provides some free benefits, so may as well go for it. So all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Sounds unanimous.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, everyone. The next item on the agenda is consider sponsorship tier for celebration. It was not included officially in the packet, but Carrie Ann has it up, a separate document that was included as a link on the meeting website. So I didn't have a chance to review this one thoroughly. And if you're in the same boat as me, perhaps we can visit it together. So did this one come from Janice as well? Jeremiah, do you have some background on this one? You're on mute.
This one did come from Janice as well.
Okay. Just making sure. I am not 100% sure where she pulled this from, if it's like based off of the sponsored packages we use for the museum fundraising on the Sternwheeler every year or what. But looks like she put some work into this. So probably with the help of AI, which is awesome. Awesome tool. So it looks like we'll just read through this together. The Bridge of the Gods Centennial Celebration will be a once-in-a-lifetime community event honoring 100 years of that iconic bridge that unites Oregon and Washington across the Columbia River Gorge, taking place in the Cascade Locks Marine Park, September 18th through 20th. The celebration will draw thousands of visitors from across the region with weekend of live music, heritage programs, family activities, food and beverage vendors, and opportunities to highlight the cultural, historical, and economic significance of the bridge. Sponsors will benefit from high visibility recognition in event marketing and on-site promotion, aligning their brand with landmark celebration of regional pride, community connection, and gorge heritage that will attract locals, tourists, and media attention alike. So our target audiences are local families, the PCT hiker and outdoor enthusiast, the gorge history buff, the festival goer. Basically, we're trying to draw all sorts of folks. I don't think we need to read through every single aspect of these target audiences, but this is just to give our potential sponsors an idea of who they'd be promoting to. The Bridge of the Gods Centennial Celebration promotions will include online and print media with objective to encourage attendance and promote sponsors. The Bridge of the Gods Centennial Celebration is an official America 250 event. So that was written prior to us voting on it, but that's okay. The event will be included in promotions for official Oregon 250 and Washington America 250 affiliate events. Online media promotion will include the event website, social media channels, as well as other websites, blogs, social media of our sponsors, state, regional, local tourism entities, America 250 promotions, news broadcasts and communications from regional museums, history, transportation, and engineering organizations. Print media promotion will include the official event poster, flyer, postcards, advertising in regional publications, and in-store promotions at local retailers. You will be asked to upload your high-resolution logo at the time of registration. Social media, in order to receive social media benefits per sponsor level, sponsors must send photos, video, or text to our social media team so they can upload stories or reels via Instagram. Our team will reach out to obtain assets, which will run June 1st through September 4th, which seems reasonable. I'm assuming that means 2026. Instagram will be the primary platform used to promote our sponsors and general festival info. Facebook will be used only for general festival info. Sponsor revenue collection. Sponsor revenue funds will be collected by Port of Cascade Locks. Registration and payment can be made at blah, blah, blah. Logistics. I don't think we need to read all of this. Let's look at the actual sponsorship levels. So now that I'm reading this and wrapping my head around this, I think it's a really good idea to have. However, if we are planning on hiring someone, i.e. Jason Wykunis from PCT Days, I think he would be the one responsible for collecting sponsors, and that would possibly be part of his overall profit sharing of the festival, for making sure he gets some payment for the fest. So as much as I like this idea, I think we're putting the cart before the horse in this instance. Jeremiah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good framework and outline for us to start thinking about. But also, this group is, I mean, we can make the decision and hand this to Jason, but we could be, or whoever we decide to hire, we could be shooting ourselves in the foot if we start going out and promoting this before. You know, if Jason comes back and says, man, getting 2,500 from a tent sponsor is going to be really difficult. I can only usually get this much, or even worse, we're shooting ourselves in the foot and their tent
Could have gotten more.
Or it feels like a lot of benefits on there, right? And we might be able to slim this down in a way. So part of the real reason that this group is considering Jason is there's a little less guesswork in it for him in terms of what he feels like he can get based on 19 years of experience. And I think that's part of what we're buying with Jason. With that said, Janice is making a point in the email which she sent us out that we need to get a move on. So I think this is good for getting us a move on.
Yeah.
But probably dovetails us into the next conversation that's, I think, going to happen, which is talking a little bit about Jason and the meeting that Carrie and I had with him.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is a good start. I don't feel comfortable voting on it today to adopt it officially without having first make a decision on who's actually running the event and where those sponsorships are, who's going to be chasing those sponsorships and everything like that. So that's just my stance. I don't know if you guys have similar thoughts, but part of Jason's job, or whoever might be running the festival, would be to chase those sponsorships.
I mean, agree.
I have a comment, Gary.
Yeah.
I love the enthusiasm that goes into this, and whether or not it was AI or however Janice works her brain, but I do think that this is something that you can present to Jason, or because it's September 25, 26, 27, correct? It's those 3 days in September 2026.
18th through 20th, but yeah.
The 18th. How did I get that on? Let me see if it's on my calendar the wrong way, I think.
But yeah, I think that is the point, is we would provide this document to Jason.
18, 19, 20.
Yeah, and provide this document. I think it is just 18, 19, so we would have to edit that anyway. We voted not to do a 3-day festival. I thought I'll have to double check. And, I think that's all until anything is officially printed. And Jason comes and talks to us about what we want and everything. The dates that we created are, the weekend is set, but whether we do it for 1 day or 3 days, or how we approach that would be worked out with whoever we're working with for the event.
I have a question. Are you including, or is the plan for this festival to include camping on the island like he does for PCT Days?
No, I don't think in this case it's necessary.
Okay.
The only camping on the island that nope. It could be kind of fun to let locals camp on the island because it's not a thing they really ever get to do.
Right.
That could be cool, but I could probably see the island being used for a lot of other things during this, especially since
Okay.
Well, I think that like the Bridge of the Gods run, is it, that had the stage set up at the end of the island was really cool. If we could get that because it has the bridge in the background.
Right. They did have camping on the island for that event.
They did, but again, because this is just a locals festival, I don't know that we're gonna see people traveling in from everywhere needing camping.
I think there's also, I mean, that's up for this group to decide, right? So as much as me and Carrie are answering, she's the head of the chair she's the chair, and I'm here to make sure we all stay on course. But we do need somebody that you guys can say, hey, should we do this? And then be able to give feedback, or say, we don't care what your feedback is. This is what we're going to do. Make it work, right?
Right.
We're missing that person in the room who can be that. So my immediate knee jerk is absolutely not. And Carrie,
just because we've had some negative experiences with that.
It's a lot. And then, and especially getting to be into September, we could have rain, and rain makes it a lot. It's a different party. I'm opposed to it, but I'm not the guy, right? I do whatever I'm delegated to do. So my knee jerk to absolutely not is, that was wrong. That was a knee jerk response that I shouldn't have had. This group needs to decide that, but I think Jason or whoever would be helpful in telling you, like, this is the logistics that get added to it. We can do it, which is cool because he's done it. That's one of the things about him. But really, that's sort of up for this group to decide. And with a decision that big and the impact it would have to the park, I would probably have you guys do it as a recommendation to the commission and let the commission actually approve it or not approve it. There's a lot of things that this group's going to be able to make decisions on that through consensus are not going to require commission approval, but I think that's one that probably would. So,
well, and about the length, I've talked to a couple vendors who would normally do these type of festivals, local artists, who said they actually prefer a one-day festival over multiple day or 2-day, because of the time of year, just having to secure the booth in the evenings, stuff like that. That a one-day festival is much more preferred for them, and that was from 2 people I've talked to. So we might actually find it difficult to get a lot of committed vendors if we are putting on a multiple day event. So that's something to consider if we want the type of local artists and stuff like that we want to participate. I mean, we could have maybe a portion of it that is a one-day festival, the biggest portion, and then leave like the food trucks and the music going on all weekend and stuff, and the bungee jumping, if we can actually get those guys to respond and approved and all of that, like, and have it like one big day festival, and then the rest, if you want to come down and enjoy music and food and watch bungee jumping and have a couple of the local booths left, do it that way too. So, I mean, there's several ways we can approach it, but I think we also want to bring that person in. Jason is likely that person to help guide us through that as well, because he's the one with all of that experience.
I think that it's going to be really important, whoever we get, whether it's Jason or someone else, to make them aware that we do want this to be affordable to local vendors so that they can participate, which means that, like someone who does, like, I can't remember, Peter Mortenson's wife, she's not going to be able to afford a $3,000 booth space. You know what I mean?
Right. And we mentioned that to him during our lunch meeting. So I think prioritizing and giving deals to local booths.
Yeah, and I think anything, I mean, again, no, I'm just ideas. I think like anybody who actually makes the product that they're selling, right? It's local artisans or things that are made specifically by the person who's there selling. We could definitely have a booth rate for them. And it might be a booth rate that's really, really, really inexpensive. So we get a lot of people showing up.
Great.
You know, so
That would be awesome. So Jason did present us a cost sheet at least during the meeting. I don't know. Oh, he did get it. Okay, cool. So this was what PCT days cost last year to put on, and I think some of these items can be cut because, like marketing, we have a different bucket of money that we use for marketing, so it doesn't have to necessarily come out of our Centennial committee budget. And so like the $4,900 for Oregonian ads and stuff like that, we can kind of trim off some of the fat there. But for the most part, this is what he recommends to do logistically a successful festival. So this does not include his costs. This is just the cost of all the logistics. And it comes out to about $30,000. So our budget this year is $30,000, which is ironic. So we could definitely afford to pay for all of this, but we would also need some money to pay for Jason or figure out how that works if we want to pursue this. I think this is something the port would also have to vote on to be sure.
yeah, I think ultimately what we'd like to maybe talk about is, A, does anybody see any places in there where they think that it's not necessary, or that there's a way for us to do it cheaper? We found a couple when we were looking at it. And that doesn't necessarily mean, well, can't port staff do that? Nope, that's the reason we did a subcommittee and are hiring somebody. So all of this is really being contracted out. And can volunteers do this? Absolutely. So if we can build a volunteer base to take on some of this stuff, but most of this stuff is pretty straightforward, like stuff you got to buy. The other thing that, like Carrie said, is it doesn't include paying Jason to take on this event. This is just
he has no idea what to charge at this point, so he's sitting and thinking about it.
So,
and I think Jason's sort of big takeaway in it is, what do you guys want? Do you want a flat fee? This is what it is to throw the party, and I try to make as much money as I can through the vendors and all of that jazz, and at the end you guys get what I got you. I did the best I could. Here's what I got you. Or do we want Jason to have a lower fee and have Jason have some skin in the game, where then he's getting a cut on the number of on whatever he sells a vendor booth for, right? So there's some motivation there that we can build in by having him to be.
Well, and he could probably have his own booth of PCT Day merch and make some extra money that way.
And the reality is like the port doesn't have the staff necessary to take this event on if it's ridiculously successful either, right? So there's a certain part that we're also wanting Jason to have buy-in, so that if it's successful and he thinks he can make it successful, he has another event that he can do here, and we have somebody that's doing that event can take it and run with it. Fulfills the mission of the port with economic development. We have somebody doing it. It's almost like, for lack of a better word here, we're giving Jason a little shot on our money to pull something off for himself. Now, certainly we're going to want to cut bigger than PCT days because it's our party, our idea, our plan, our investment. But having him have
could maybe help pay for some of this 30 grand too.
Yeah, right. And having him having some of that skin in the games could certainly help with that. So I think what we're looking for is a bit of a discussion here for me and Carrie to take back to Jason and say, you know what, we just want a flat fee. It's easier. There's less accounting. There's less administrative work. There's less juggling of funds. Or, we really want you invested in this, and we think it's going to have a big upside to it. And in order for you to go after that upside at the highest level possible, we want to have you do it for a cheaper amount, but give you a cut. So,
well, and I think the type of sponsors that he's gonna get, and look for are going to be different than what he does for PCT days. So I think we might also want to help him and point him in the right directions on where to get those sponsorships. So maybe provide a list of people we think would be good sponsors that have sponsored events with us in the past, like, Shaver and whatever.
And
Ship.
when I say sponsors, I mean more of the vendor tents. And when I say vendors, I don't mean local artisan vendors. I mean people selling an actual product of some sort that their company makes or that they represent. I think Shaver's going to give us money and throw their logo on the banner, and that'll be that. Like they're not going to want a booth about art.
No, right.
So.
But that's the kind of, when I say sponsors, that's what I'm talking about is people who want their logos and have just a flat fee to have like some advertising at an event that don't necessarily want a booth. But like A&J Market has sponsored stuff in the past. We've got probably a lot of the breweries and stuff that may want to be sponsors, maybe even if just low level, but that between that and the vendors that he gets to bring in, how much does that account for, and how much of that would we want to keep to kind of supplement some of this, offset some of this costs?
I agree with Jeremiah, though. I think him having skin in the game is going to motivate him to go out and get more vendors, get more sponsors, because the more money he makes on that end, the more he ends up in his pocket at the end. And I like that, we're motivating him because he's going to be tired having done PCT days and then immediately going into doing this event. So we want to keep him motivated in some way.
Yeah, I agree. So now we just have to have a follow-up with him and get him to reach some kind of understanding, get an MOU in place. And that needs to happen soon because we need to be locked in with somebody by October 1st, essentially.
He's getting back on vacation. I think he said September 10th. So we'll schedule to meet with him September 10th. Me and Carrie will come back with some numbers. We may potentially need to pull a meeting in order to get it on a commission meeting, make everything move quickly. You might see us call this group together off schedule if necessary. But yeah, we need to get numbers in front of you guys quickly to make sure you feel good about making a recommendation to the commission. Then we need to get it to the commission. Then I need to, when we get the commission, I've got to look at it and see how I pull it off with the funds that we have and run it through the finance side of things. But
generally, and we have a $30,000 budget right now that we've only used like $3,000 of because of the marketing, artwork, graphic design, I think. So, I feel like between this and 2020, the 2026 budget next year, in June, that we can allocate whatever leftover is needed to support it. We should be. I'm less worried about our profit sharing with him this year. Like, even if we only have like a tiny cut to motivate him and keep it, if he's wildly successful, cool. And we only make a couple grand off of it, cool. I want this to be an awesome party. And if it is wildly successful and it's something everybody loves, we can turn it into an annual thing and then revisit the profit sharing, the next time around.
And I generally think that, I know this is going to be a test case, but I generally think that it's going to be wildly successful, partially because Jason is involved, but partially because he's going to be able to do this with an economy of scale of having 2 events. He is going to be tired, but now he's going to be able to go to 2 printers and say, I need you to print this much. What's my discount? I need this much. What's my 2 events for security? What's my discount? There's 2 of us. So I know he sees the upside of this, and I know he sees the upside of it being as close to PCT days as possible. Once this actually, kicks in, he's going to use it to his advantage, and I know it's going to be successful just because of that.
Right.
But I think you're right. I think you're right in terms of we want him to see that success this year, but it's almost built in. If if we turn him, the more we turn him loose, the more he's going to be beneficial.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of numbers you have in mind or if that's something we want to talk about here, percentage wise, but like, I'm willing to let him keep like 90%, honestly. Like, let him run with it. Because who knows how much he could actually make off of it. I don't know. Like,
and to be honest, it's absolutely, well, it's right now off of PCT days, these are his costs, and he takes the rest, right? Like, these are the
right.
costs.
Who knows how much that is?
I have a general sense, and it's very successful, but that's us replicating that success of PCT days in our first year is not going to happen. He's going to have a hard time selling the vision of what this is because it's a festival about a bridge, right? We don't have it exactly yet. So it's not going to be as easy as calling all of the hiker companies in America and saying, hey, I have all the hikers on the PCT trail right here for 3 days. Do you want to come? He's got to be like, oh, it's a celebration of a bridge. Like, I think we get there. I think we find our identity as we go over time on what's successful and what's not. But I think this first year, he's going to have to put work in. They're not just going to line up.
Right.
Figures also don't include what he pays the port to rent the park out.
Say that again, Laurel.
These 2024 figures don't include the amount that he pays the port.
Yeah, he pulled the port off of it. Yeah, he pulled the port off.
That's not included, obviously, this year.
And something that me and Laurel sort of talked about the other day is also to keep this involved with as much of this committee as well as it wanting to be sort of a town-wide celebration, and for other organizations to be involved and feel like they have some things to do with it and ways to support it. This really is the nuts and bolts of what happens in the park or on port property, right? So what you don't see on here is pies for the pie eating contest. You don't see the cornhole boards that we have to buy to do cornhole, right? So there's no programming that's involved in any of this, really. It's just like, here's the party, here's the people, what are we doing? And I think there's a certain amount that's really what we want to see some of the other organizations get excited about, right? And so when you guys are like, well, we want to have an artist market and stuff, I think that's great to tell Jason and be like, well, one of the things we're bringing to this that you're not going to make any money off of, and this isn't part of your thing, is we're going to have this artist thing, and we'll handle it. Like, we can handle these little programming things. We think the other organizations can handle.
Right. We also need to build in, like, if the port or the museum wants a booth, that we get obviously free booths for that. Because I think we could sell the merch from the graphic designer. I forget his name, but the one that does the cool photos and stuff. He has a whole website. We can print out off a bunch of merch for the museum and raise money for the museum that way too for the day.
I think we should have, like we were talking about, different levels so that local vendors can be able to afford a booth. There should also be a local nonprofit booth rate, because I know that Main Street will want to do one, or
visit Cascade Locks Tourism.
Yeah, so we want to make that open to everyone so that they're also represented, and maybe encourage them to do something like Jeremiah's cornhole idea. Yeah, come to this booth, play
PCTA. Have a karaoke booth. Stuff like that. But yeah, I think.
And these will be things like, hey, we want to have a speaker who talks about the Bridge of the Gods from a historical perspective. That kind of stuff is stuff Jason isn't going to do. He's not going to go find he's like, the stuff that people are doing at this event, the way that the programming that we want, that's really the part where this group's going to have to
step in.
You're going to have to decide those things, and then you're going to have to find the people who can do it. But it isn't going to be Jason. Jason will leave you the room for it. This is your guys' space in the park, or this is your hours. You guys tell me how you're going to fill it with stuff. And I feel like
we should definitely get speakers like Jeff Helfrich and whoever else helped get us the money for the bridge, to talk on it. And
And ultimately, I think that's something that we'll see this group step into at that point is once the programming starts coming together, somebody's going to have to head that up. Somebody's going to have to be boots on the ground that day of like, okay, Helfrich is on in 2 hours. Has anybody seen him? And the art garbage cans over there are all full. That actually is a Jason thing. But why haven't the art people gotten here yet, right? So a lot of that stuff that is outside of the bones of this event and the people that are paying to be there is going to kind of fall on you guys to fill those holes, or at least create the vision and find volunteers that want to. Main Street wants to take some stuff on. I heard Canoe Club wants to take stuff on.
I feel like looking at this list too, one of the things that I think is grossly under budgeted that we're going to want to see more of is bands. Like $1,000 for one band is what I'm seeing here. Does not seem, yeah, that's just not going to cut it. We're going to want several bands, probably a little bit bigger budget than that.
Yeah, I usually budget $1,000 for the 4th of July and for the community picnic for a band, and you kind of take what you can get. And I don't mean that in a negative way. There aren't a whole lot of people to search from, and typically, like, they're fine. But if we want to have anybody where we're like, oh, dude, they play in Portland a lot and they're awesome. I've seen them twice. That's a little tougher, right? It's a little tougher.
I think we're gonna have to sit down and work that piece out and help Jason with that as well, because we have maybe a more specific vision for what we want to see. And
I think that's like a programming thing, right? Like Jason will make sure that the stage is set up and that they can get moved in and the parking has been blocked off for when the band gets there. But like who the band is, that's probably you guys.
Right.
And then the other thing, I mean, Jeremiah and I met to talk about the Main Street plan. And when it comes to programming, things like lectures on the bridge history or a pub talk that might not fit in with this event will probably fit in with the Main Street event. We can make it fit in that way. And so if people come to you and say, oh, hey, let's do an art exhibit, like, or you could do it as part of the Main Street thing, which lasts a month, and we have different places and different people who are involved, where that might be like, this one is really more of a party, like Carrie's saying. You know what I mean? Like we focused on this being a 2-day, really fun party, active, but not turn away any ideas, I guess.
Right. And I'm thinking maybe even just Friday night, we don't have all the art vendors open or anything. That's when they're there setting up, but we have a viewing platform and a band at the end of the island to do, view the bridge, whether we have bungee jumping or not. But still like highlight the bridge that night. I still want to explore the idea of getting a laser light show on the bridge too. So I needed to take that and get a quote to see how much it might cost, because that would definitely add a lot to the budget. But
Carrie, I have you and I should talk about that. I have some connections. I've been looking at it for the Main Street thing, and we can just like meet privately, and I can give you like some of the ideas that people have given.
Yeah, I was just going to reach out to the city of Lake Oswego because they had one for 4th of July recently. Right. And see who they used.
Yeah.
That's a super cool thing for Main Street to take on. That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
You just have to be careful.
Right.
Riding the bridge.
Well, can I just interject? I like what everybody's going. I want to think positive. I think your numbers, if I'm going to think a successful party, that's what I would have, on a day, I think it's, they say.
I mean, my cousin spent more than that on her one-day wedding. So
right, yeah, 19,000 people visit the Eiffel Tower every single day. Right. 19,000. Now that's and there's even more in the Louvre this past year. But what I found out is a lot of times they send out invitations, and like if we had the picture that this guy's going to do for the bridge, put it on a postcard invitation where truckers get it, somehow maybe at the booth, but we have a whole year to hand out invitations for this party, and then those invitations will say, do you want to call and sponsor this person? Do you want to sponsor these PCT people? Do you want to sponsor this trucking company? $60 billion worth of money go under the bridge every year with Shaver and Tidewater. I mean, so there's a lot of coin that utilizes this area, and the bridge is the focal point. So I just hope that there's a way that we could print out invitations to mail to our friends, and we'll have 20,000 people each day.
I mean, we can certainly send a mass mailing. That's not. I mean, we need to send the port report out
and
to
virtual,
yeah.
right? We could do it virtually, but we could also hand them out to you know.
I mean a mass mailing in the mail, an actual
Good.
physical. Yeah.
The budget that in there.
I think
Or like
Oregon-
instead of the flags on the street lamps, maybe just hanging a banner for the month before the celebration to anybody who drives through town sees the banner with the dates hanging across town. I don't know if logistically we can do that because it's a state ODOT highway. But
the
Carrie Ann,
actual
do you know how long that is there when we fill out that permit to hang up the garage sale days banner on there? Does it say how long we're allowed to hang it there?
No, I've always just set the dates. There's totally.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's easy to get a banner on the bridge. We just have to ask ODOT permission.
cool.
So one of the other issues is that the light poles themselves are owned by the city because they're part of the power grid. And so it's kind of a dual thing. Like we have to get permission from the city to do it, but then we also have to get permission from ODOT to make sure that it's not obstructing traffic. So if we want to do it, we need to start early with that idea.
Right.
Like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying those
What?
little postcards
We
would
have a
work out
year.
great.
Yeah, with ODOT, you're going to need a year.
Yeah, planning for weddings. People plan for weddings sometimes a year in advance, so it's basically like a wedding invitation.
Yeah. Well, I think we have a lot of good ideas. We need to get Jason in front of us. We need to there's no way that the group of us here, not saying that we are not capable of doing this, but we all are very busy on other aspects of our lives. So getting this put together with just us would be a huge feat. So in order to actually accomplish it and make it an amazing party, I think hiring somebody is the way to go. I don't know that we need a vote on anything yet because we don't have an official quote or anything from him at this point. But I think just a general clear understanding that we're moving forward in this direction. And then that there might be an not emergency, but last minute meeting called to move this forward and possibly vote on once we have that memorandum of understanding outlined with Jason. So then we can get it in front of the port and the port can vote on it. And then we can officially hire somebody for this.
Do we need to authorize you guys to go ahead and talk to Jason and pursue that? Do we need to
not to have a conversation with him, but when we bring it back here, you guys will need to vote on it.
Which makes me think, Mr. Punctuality, that I know that when we did trails around here, there was people that bid to make those trails, so we might put out a little ad and who wants to bid on being a promoter.
So if we did that, which we can do, so within my authority of the executive director and under the authority of the commission, because we'd probably take it straight to, I don't know if I would. I might just have them give me the authority to do it. Anyway, I think the number he's going to come back with is going to be a price where we wouldn't have to go out for an RFP.
Okay, cool.
If we do go out for one, we're bound by some pretty strict things that we have to do, which is fine. And I'm completely open to shopping this around because, it's never a bad idea to shop things. But from a time perspective, it's a little bit tough. And I don't know anybody that's going to have the same experience as him within our park other than potentially Chad Sperry. But Chad Sperry also does multiple events. So like, if you're like, hey, are you available this week? And he's like, no, I'm at the next run that's in Bend, or I'm at the next run that's in whatever. So I think if we did it based off qualifications, I just don't know how anybody beats Jason, because he's just going to say, well, I put on an event in the park for the last 19 years. It's the most successful. And it's going to be hard for anybody to compete against that, just because he can say he's done it in the park. Could we get it cheaper from somebody? Probably. I bet Laurel's chomping her bit right now to be like, I can throw this party. What are you going to pay me, right? So, like,
I'm not.
I know, but possibly, crossed my mind that, based on what a really cool package that Janice was already starting to put together, that Janice could do it. But I also know what it means, and it's a lot, and it's a lot. And at the end of PCT days,
He's already overwhelmed.
It's his only job that he has, and everybody in Cascade Locks is a little frustrated with him, so he gets to leave. So there's something that's a little bit good about maybe not putting it with somebody locally.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Which makes me also think about it's not if, it's when we send out these invitations that we include an RSVP. This way, we can say, guess what? Our numbers are up from 7,000 to 10,000 on that Saturday. That people said they're going to attend.
We can create a Facebook event, and people usually show that they're interested or going or whatever too.
And if we're giving away swag, which sounds like we're selling swag, but maybe we're also giving away swag, you can have swag that only goes to people who RSVP. If you RSVP, you get this.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Bring your postcard and show us that you got it in the mail and you brought your 20 people with you.
Yeah, or they'll just, they'll click on it and fill out their name, and now we'll have a list of names of people who get that swag.
Yeah.
I can't wait for a live band on Thunder Island. I think that's going to be killer.
I've been asked to share with this group that there's a Tom Petty cover band in Portland called I can't remember now, but they're absolutely fantastic. And the fact that they've never played in Cascade Locks is a travesty that the port should fix. And I was like, all right, I will pass that along.
Cool.
I love it.
And I looked them up. They're not cheap. So they must be here.
Cool. Well, I think before the next meeting, I'm going to try to put together a spreadsheet of items that I think we're going to have to track for programming. And then Jason will have his task list once we decide to officially hire him. But then we can start working during our committee meetings on these items, such as what bands we want, what sponsors we think we could send Jason's way, what speakers we want, stuff like kind of the fun stuff.
Totally the fun stuff.
What vendors we want to see that we can send Jason's way to make sure that we get them there. I'm making sure Bonnie White Watercolor is coming. I'm making sure Jesse Brackenberry is going to have a booth to sell his photography.
And that'll be good to start working with Jason immediately. Things that, hey, we can take this off of your plate, and things where Jason's like, no, let me handle this piece of it. And so we're all speaking the same language. And I think that's great.
Yep. Cool. All right. So, do we have anything else on the agenda today? Are there any other saved rounds or go backs? We need to confirm our date for the next meeting, I guess.
Right. But I want to also, because I was not there at the last meeting, but you're saying it's not going to be the 20th. It's just going to be the 18th and the 19th, only 2 days. Is that what you told me, Carrie?
I think that's yet to be determined. It's that weekend for sure. Possibly all 3 days, possibly only 1 day. I think we need to work with Jason and get guidance on what we're going to give him guidance too. So if we really want 3 days, then we tell him 3 days. But I think that, go ahead.
No, I'm just going with my 3. I think 3 is a good number.
I think if we're going to get the bungee jumping people out here, we need 3 days of bungee jumping because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Exactly. So even if we do 1 day of full on festival, but leave the food trucks and bands and bungee jumping for the other 2 partial days, that could be a lot of fun. and have it set up like that, something like that. Or 2 days of full festival with all the vendors, and like the first evening with a band and the laser show or something like that. I don't know. There's all sorts of different things we could do. I think we need to talk with Jason about the logistics of it all and if that really is going to increase the price too. And if so, by how much? Because PCT Days is what, a 2-day festival, right? So,
Jeremiah,
Yeah.
this
Yes.
might be a good, we've talked about, if you're not doing camping, then we could turn the campground into that food court that you were talking about. This might be a good event to try that out on.
Yeah, I agree.
To keep in mind for your talks with Jason.
Yeah, I
well,
think
because you
that's
got,
a good idea.
they won't have to run the noisy generators.
Right.
I honestly, that was my only thing about PCT Days that I didn't like, is where the food trucks were and how noisy the generators are in that area.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about the possibility of having just the campground turned into like a food court area. And that might work out really well, particularly because it is going to be September. It might get cold. We could set up heat lamps under tents around the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if we block that off from regular camping,
Right. And regular traffic.
yeah,
Anyway, we wanted to
I
give
like
it a
that
try.
idea.
This might be a good event to give it a try on.
I like it.
I also
that can
want to
be-
say
Oh,
one
go
more
ahead.
thing too that came across my head is that if you start in September to January is 4 months, January to May is 4 months, May to September is 4 months. So you basically have 1 year, and if we could like have an invitation ready to go in the September of 2025, and then by January 2026 have another invitation saying these are the people in the last 3 months that have committed to be there. Aren't you going to join us? And then to sponsor this event. And we want you to write a check, make it as big as you can for the Port of Cascade Locks to cover all this expense. And then you could, we want you to attend the meeting and promote your business. So if we go in 3 months or 4 months, we got, just 4 big mailing events. I'm talking about the mailing, the invitations, and how each invitation can add on saying, hey, we heard from Tidewater, we heard from Shaver, we heard from Freightliner, we heard
I
from
think
Delta Airlines.
all stuff Jason will be taking care of too,
I don't think he thinks big enough.
Well, once we get him on the phone, we can put those ideas in his head.
Yeah. Good.
And we actually have to sort of hammer down with Jason what we're doing so we can put that on the invitation and make it all
Right.
nice and juicy so people respond.
I don't think we're going to get an invitation out in September, though, considering it's August 21st right now. So maybe in October, a preliminary advertisement. But we still I need Janice to check in with Mr. Why do I always forget?
She gave an update. Banquet said that he should be sending the art in early or mid-September.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Because we would like to use that art as our main marketing. So
Logo.
when we do
Right.
send out invitations, flyers, whatever, advertisements, this is the art we're doing it on. And so we need to wait for that to get published as well.
Agreed.
Well, today is the 21st, right? Isn't it the 21st already?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
20?
So speaking of our next meetings, we may have one immediately after September 10th. And if that happens, then we can maybe change
September
the date of
12th.
our next meeting. But does September 18th work for everybody, since we typically do Thursdays?
Sure.
What day?
September 18th?
Let me double check. Janice reached out to me and she had yep, that's fine. She's got a grant for the Roundhouse Foundation to go to the American Association for State and Local History Conference, which is all about America 250. But that's going to work out fine because it's on 9/10 through 9/12. So I'll let her know.
Perfect. 9/18. And then I mean, if we have an urgent meeting before then we'll schedule that as needed. But in the meantime, we'll keep our standing meeting at the 18th, which I think works well for me because that's prior to my surgery the following week. So I'll still be able to talk. So that's it.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Think if there's no go backs, I think we're good to adjourn.
Need to make that move.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Take
See you
care.
guys later.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Carrie.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you, everyone.
Bye, guys.